Hello everyone, I am here again with another devlog. I'm going to keep this one pretty short. I just want to show off some of the combat, so let's get right into it. Alright, sorry to end it out getting to this fight. I just wanted to just show off this, and I kind of used the test level to load this up. So a couple of things. This UI up here, this UI down here, this is all kind of placeholder. Eventually I kind of plan to replace it all. The fact that I'm using this Olivia battle system actually has more to do with the turn system. I don't really use a lot of the features of it. It handles standard turn-based system in a lot of specific ways that I use for my combat. So as you can see, there's 3 party members like normal, even though there's only 1 playable character. This is kind of the system of the game. Is you're playing as the synthezoid, but you have an onboard computer that gives you kind of support, and you also have an onboard fabricator that can repair you and do various things. So I'll show off some of the specifics of the combat in this game. One of the main things is that I have this scanning system that I can use on enemies. And I have some animations to show that. This animation I fiddle around with a bit, but I'll probably fiddle around with it some more. I'm not entirely happy with that. But, you know, the idea is that you're scanning this thing, and it's kind of like showing you this weakened area that you can kind of point out. So think of this as like an offshoot. Like if you ever seen like a sci-fi UI, like boop, this is kind of pointing to his weak point. The whole system relies on basically this is a monster that is set to show up halfway. So when I scan him, he appears, and when I kill him, he will cause his own effects. So you see it's called Fatal Weakness. And if I attack it, it has very little health, and it causes this instant death effect on him. This is also, this reinforcements effect is happening because I have the game on the highest difficulty, so certain fights will have additional enemies show up when you're playing on the highest difficulty. So yeah, you gotta watch out for that. I'm just gonna use this light wall real quick. I have seen these animations used by a lot of devs these days, so that's a little unfortunate, but what can you do? Go ahead and scan this guy again. I actually have lots of options already for combat for this guy. Scanning this guy won't kill him, so you know what? Let's be a little tactical here and use this attack on this guy, because he has just enough health to be instantly killed by that. And now you can see how this guy can repair him, get everything back to normal. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to prevent him using that ability, which you'll see very shortly. This character, the computer, can also reroute power, so you notice that the mana cost is pretty high there, so it's kind of her job is to be that support. I'm actually going to show off this real quick. See, I have this is a different thing. The last guy was an instant kill, but when I slash this guy, his weak point, now he can no longer use that move he was using, which was giving his teammates extra turns. So all he can do is his default attack. And you'll notice also that that attack also did damage to him, so you're not like spending your whole turn just removing his ability. This game as a whole is a lot about turn economy, so everything you kind of plan out is important. This is actually one of the easier fights. This is one of the first fights in the game, so that's why the enemies are kind of basic, and my options are kind of limited too. So this is a level 1 fight, but on the hardest difficulty, that's why they're doing so much damage to me. Right now, I have a few ideas of what I can do, but I might just be simple and do this. Yeah. That attack actually reduces their attack. Both this guy and this guy, their basic attack doesn't actually do any damage. All of the attacks are basically reliant on this main character. So it's creates a very slow combat, a lot of thought you can put into the various turns and stuff that you can do. I do have this skill, but I didn't give myself the materials I need. That allows you to give an extra turn to the chassis so you can do more damage. You can also do this, which also gives him like thorns, so there are options for doing damage to the other characters, but they're not like direct damage attacks. You know what, let's finish this guy off with some style. And that's the combat of the game. In Automatic Messiah, you actually are fully healed at the end of combat, usually. There might be some exception if I do some, encounter where something special happens. So basically you're kind of meant to use all of your abilities and all of your strategy all the time, thus creating the kind of puzzle-based like strategy in the moment. Alright, I think that's going to actually do it for this week. Thanks for tuning in.